What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Elite Fantasy Baseball. That's right, as you might have heard or might have seen, we were dabbling into the Sorare MLB streets, getting swept up into the hype of a new season, or maybe it's because I've been watching too many terrible basketball games down the stretch as every single NBA team seems to be tanking. So that's right, we're taking our talents to the baseball streets. We're going to be diving in this stream to Sorare MLB. But before we get started, if this is your first time tuning into our Elite Fantasy channel, do me a favor, like the stream, subscribe to the video, and then drop a comment. Are you diving into MLB this season? All right, enough of that. Let's play ball. Gosh darn it, that messed up my hair. All right, first off, right off the top, let me just say, this is my first season really jumping into the Sorare MLB streets. I've dabbled a little bit before, but we're gonna do this for real this season, which means a couple of things. One, means you're gonna be getting more content around Sorare MLB. It's not gonna take place of Sorare NBA. We're still gonna be doing that as well, but this Wednesday at noon, our special guest, Andrew Laird, is going to be joining the show to get us ready for the MLB season, or at least talk us through our anxieties. But it also means I'm a little bit of a beginner, so I might be staying more in the limited streets, not necessarily the rare streets like I do for Sorare NBA. So just be nice to me, okay? I'm like you. But enough of that. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 players that I'm going to be targeting, and I did my best to dive into some sleepers. I know it can't be a fantasy sports video before a season starts without doing a sleepers video, so here are mine. I'm going to do my best to find some cost-efficient plays that I think not only will grow, of course not financial advice, as the season goes on, but also can help you win some rewards early on this season. Now, full disclosure, some of these I own already, but some of them I might be buying before this video uploads because I know we move markets here.
None of this is financial advice. Do what you love what you do. Something like that, right?
All right, here we go. The first play. And again, listen, hey, if I screw up the name, feel free to roast me in the chat. But we're going to be looking at the catcher from the Washington Nationals, Keibert Ruiz.
Candlestick broke out. There's a long ball. Right field line. Well out of here.
Now, back in my season-long or dynasty days of fantasy baseball, Keibert Ruiz was somebody I would always target as this up-and-coming catching prospect that was supposed to bring some power and some speed, as well as his defensive abilities. Now, Keibert has shown some flashes, but man, the guy's been unlucky. Specifically, last season in 2024, he contracted some sort of virus that shut him down for a little bit and also caused him to lose 20 whole pounds. Now, before the virus hit him last season, he was on pace for his best season as a major league catcher. Now, last season, before getting decimated by the virus, he knocked out 13 balls out of the park with 13 dangers. He also had 21 doubles, 57 RBIs, and 46 runs scored. And what's nice about this is his limited card right now, his in-season card. Again, we're going to be talking about in-season cards so you're ready to go for their best tournaments on Sorare MLB. But his in-season limited card is only $3.02, while his rare in-season card is $9.51. So again, you're not breaking the bank on someone who could be breaking out this season. All right, we're going to keep going with guys who keep getting hurt. So yes, there is some risk here. It's the Reds prospect, Encarnacion. Again, the pronunciation is probably not great.
This ball's hammered to left. There it goes. Gone!
This is another guy who's off to a hot start before getting hurt and then being shut down. He only played 29 games last season, and because of that, only got 116 plate appearances. In those 116 plate appearances, he only had 2 bombs. But if we're able to zoom out a little bit, and if he's able to live up to this draft hype this prospect had, and we go back to his rookie campaign where he played 63 games, over 270, had 13 bombs, 37 RBIs, we could see not only his production skyrocket, but maybe that price skyrocket as well. And we know the Reds are a fan of his game. Now, he's a little bit more expensive, so some people are aware of him, but if we go over to the Sorare MLB marketplace, you can find his limited in-season card over there for just under $9, and his rare tier card is at $46. Everybody loves a comeback story, and we're going to keep the comeback stories going. We've got the Milwaukee Brew Crew, the Brewers outfielder, Garrett Mitchell. People were excited about Mitchell in 2024, and then he got smoked by a pitch in the spring training that shut him down for quite some time. He was only able to log 69 games, say it with me, nice, for the Brewers last season, but during that time, he showed both power and speed, and we like that because that's fantasy points. He belted 8 ding-dongers while swiping 11 bags, and we should expect him in center field every day for the Milwaukee Brewers, and if he's able to build off that 8 and 11 line in just 69 games, we could be looking at a 2020 type season from the youngster. Garrett Mitchell, a little bit cheaper than what we were just talking about here. His limited in-season card is under $5.75, and his rare tier card is just a hair under $40. And you're going to notice a trend about a lot of the guys that we're talking about this season, whether they're coming off one of their weaker seasons or coming off injury. This is just an opportunity to get ahead of it. Now, this next guy is a little bit interesting because he can play almost every position on the field, and it's the Tampa Bay Rays' Christopher Morel. Now, the Rays in general are in such a weird situation. If you guys can remember, not too long ago, hurricanes that whipped through Florida actually whipped through the Rays Stadium, and honestly, that Rays Stadium is one of the worst baseball stadiums I've visited in my entire life. So I'm not saying I'm happy it was destroyed, but I'm hoping the ownership and the city of Tampa can come together and build an actually great baseball arena. But for the time being, they're going to be playing in a minor league park. Now, me personally, I remember Morel when he was in Chicago doing a little fantasy goodness over there. And when he came to Tampa, he was off to a slow start. But sometimes it takes a little bit for a guy to get comfortable in his new home and his new team. And now he's got a full season under his belt and in a hitter-friendly ballpark. If we go back to 2023, Morel showed some serious promise. Hit just under 250, but he did have 26 home runs. And also decent speed, could swipe a few bags. But in 2024, his batting average dipped way down. We're talking sub 200, not great ball. However, even with his average down that far, his home run power was still there, getting up over the 20 home run mark, along with 8 stolen bases. So again, maybe not the sexiest of plays, but I do think there is an opportunity for Morel, again, with the ballpark increase and the comfort level now with his team, to really get back to form. And once again, this is pretty cost effective here. His limited card is under $5 at $4.64 right now, and his rare tier card is just under $24. Now, this name should absolutely be in place for a bounce back season. However, it hurts me deep in my soul because it is a reminder that the Boston Red Sox traded Mookie Betts. This guy wasn't involved in that trade, but it just reminds me that we're not where we should be right now, and it makes me very sad, but it is the shortstop Trevor Story. Now, early in Trevor Story's career, his numbers were a little bit propped up, shout out our guy Taylor Meyer, by the altitude of Colorado playing in Coors Field. However, he's still got an immense amount of talent and will be in the middle of a lineup that is poised to put up a lot of offensive power this season. Now, the risk here is that Trevor Story only played 26 games last season, and in that time only knocked out 2 bombs. However, racked up a ton of steals in that short amount of time. If he is able to stay healthy, there's no reason we don't see the Red Sox shortstop put up 25 and 25 this season. But the story of Trevor Story will be, can he stay on the field? And now, for maybe the most boring team in Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. You can already tell it's boring because it takes too long to say the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's a terrible name. We've got 2 players that we're going to target from this roster. And first up is outfielder Joe Adell.
Line drive, base hit. There's an insurance run. Joe Adell drives in Ohapi, and it's 6-4.
The young prospect Adell was quietly a bright spot for the very boring and sad Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim last season, where he logged over 100 games for the first time in his career, playing 130. Now, the batting average left a lot to desire, but if he's able to build off of last year, we could easily see like a 25 bomb, 20 stolen base ceiling from this guy. Now, one of the bright spots about Joe Adell is he is going to be out there every single day manning center field. We saw him last season hit basically 1 through 9, so we don't really know where he'll fall every single day in the batting lineup, but if he gets off to a hot start, we know the Angels will be betting on young talent this year. Hopefully, he just stays in that top 3 range. Now, for a price point, again, relatively cheap, kind of in the same range that we've been talking about so far. His limited in-season card is going for just over $4 at $4.10. His rare tier in-season card is just under $26. Now, speaking of betting on young talent from the boring Los Angeles Angels, I'm not going to know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but we're going to give it a try confidently. The first baseman, Nolan Schanuel. Schanuel. Although I wasn't diving into Sorare MLB so much so last season, I was in the underdog daily streets, and I could remember quite a few times talking myself into my guy, Nolan. Now, Nolan is a young 23-year-old prospect that has the build of someone that's going to hit a ton of home runs who has yet to hit a ton of home runs. But however, me personally, I'm going to be betting on the young talent and hope that we actually see the realized power this season. Last season, hit over 250, which we love to see. He gets himself on base, only hit 13 bombs though, but does have okay speed, swiping 10 bags, had over 50 RBIs and 60 runs scored. And Nolan should be in the middle of the lineup, and hopefully, again, we're betting on that power. And he's relatively cheap too. His limited card is under $4, and his rare in-season card is sitting at $23.78. You guys remember that the Milwaukee Brewers used to have Corbin Burnes, and they traded him to the Orioles? I hope they got something back that's beneficial for them, right? Well, hopefully it's this guy, Joey Ortiz. And the only people hoping that's the case more than me, well, is the Milwaukee Brewers. He didn't really bring the excitement disappointment last year, although his So Rare card does have a mustache on it, and that's pretty exciting. But much like Nolan Schanuel's power that hasn't yet to be realized, I'm hoping that's the same case with Joey Ortiz's fantasy goodness. Now, last season, he only hit 240 and dropped a bunch of ones. And by that, I mean he had 11 home runs and 11 stolen bases. But again, if we're betting on the young talent and that he's now comfortable in this new organization and is able to take a step forward in his major league career, we could be looking at, again, another 2020 guy. The upside is there. It's just if he's going to put it together. Joey Ortiz right now, his limited in-season card is just over $5, while his rare tier card is just over $27. All right, I've got 2 So Rare MLB plays left for you today. I hope you've enjoyed the content so far. And just a reminder, if you like the video and you're having a good time, make sure you actually press the like button. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can check out the content. And every time we drop a new video, whether it's for baseball or for basketball, and let me know in the comments who has been your favorite baseball team to attack this preseason as we get ready for So Rare MLB. And you know what? We're planting our flag here. We're planting the flag here right now that these next 2 plays are going to be real boom plays this season. We're going to start with the Cleveland Guardians, and it's someone that showed incredible plate discipline 2 years ago that eroded last year, but I'm hoping the maturity and the power is coming back with a guy named Bo Naylor. I'm sorry, if your name is Bo Naylor, you are going to Bo Nail 30 home runs. So we're calling our shot right now. 30 dingers for Bo Naylor this season. What I also love about Bo Naylor, I don't know how many catchers out there are swiping double-digit stolen bases, but Bo Naylor's got a little bit of sneaky speed. So not only are we calling our shot for 30 bombs, we're going to say 13 plus stolen bases this year. That's right. You heard it here first. I'm not saying it's a hot take, but it's a scorcher. 30 bombs, 15 stolen bases from our catcher from the Cleveland Guardians, Bo Naylor. And one nice thing, again, similar to what we were talking about with Nolan Schanuel earlier and even some Trevor Story, Bo Naylor's going to be hitting in the middle of that lineup. And a team in recent history that's been putting up some decent runs. So hopefully Bo Naylor's going to be Bo Nailing them. And last but not least, I hope you have an appetite because it's time for lunch. Jake Burger. Jake Burger is someone who battled a ton of injuries when he was in the windy city of Chicago. And then in his last season in Chicago, finally put it together and was knocking out bombs. In 2023, he banged out 34 bombs and over 80 RBIs. And then he left the Chicago windy city for Miami. We saw his numbers come down a little bit, but not too aggressively. And his numbers there knocked out 29 bombs and 76 RBIs. But here's the thing. He was playing in Miami, which is historically a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. He is no longer on the Miami Marlins, which means you might actually see him play baseball on national television. He is now over in Arlington, in Texas, in the heat with a much more hitter-friendly ballpark. Jake Burger, berging out 45 bombs this year. We're calling it 45. Why not? That's 2 flags planted. Bo nailing 30-plus bombs and 15 stolen bases, and then Jake Cheeseburger is going for 45 dangers this season. And there you have it. That's going to do it for our first ever, our inaugural So Rare MLB content as we get ready for the 2025 MLB season. Reminder, check in with us in just a couple of days. On Wednesday, March 26th at noon Eastern, we're going to have Mr. Lairdano. Andrew Laird is going to be joining the show to talk about some of his new content to get ready for So Rare MLB. And then we've got plenty more baseball in the can for you. And if you're in the basketball streets, just a reminder, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll be firing up live before lock, where we'll be giving out rare tier cards. So we hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time.